So Microsoft has created a lot of different things, technologies and features that they have wrapped it up and named the product as SharePoint. Now SharePoint is a platform. It's not a standalone application, but it's a platform that allows you to create websites via which you can share information. So every user or organization may use SharePoint for different set of needs. Some may use it to create simple websites, to just share some information with external stakeholders as an internet website. Some may use it to store documents, to use it as a document management system, while other may use the workflows to automate some tasks. Now, based on organization requirement, you may use some or few of those features of SharePoint. There are many features in SharePoint, so for a new user, this can be a challenging task to understand SharePoint. So in this video, what we are going to do is we will go through SharePoint to understand what are the basic features of SharePoint, and then we will take you on a tour, a journey of SharePoint on how do you use SharePoint. We will do a hands-on on what you need to know, the basic things that you need to know about SharePoint. So let's quickly dive in on learning what is SharePoint. So SharePoint is a web-based collaboration platform used by organizations to create websites. Now the important point to note over here is that we use it to create websites. So once these websites are ready, then we can use other features that SharePoint has to offer on these websites to collaborate and share information. So once the website is ready, you can use features like document management system to share and upload documents, and then you can share those documents with other users within or outside the organization. The document management system is an amazing feature in SharePoint where you can use it to do versionings on the document. You can have the check and check out. You can work on a document seamlessly together with multiple users. Then you can do permissions on those documents. What you can do is you can create groups, and then you can assign users inside that group, and then you can assign permission to that group. So once you have assigned the permission, you can tag that group to a particular document or a group of documents. So this way you can target a set of document to right set of people within your organization. So that's the permission and audience targeting. Then there is some concept as list. So list, you can think of it as an Excel file. So if you would have seen an Excel file, it has rows and columns. Similarly, in lists in SharePoint, you have rows, and so any data that you want to capture, you can capture it using list. Even the document library is kind of a list. So for example, if you have calendars, you have announcements, you can all store that information into those lists. So even if you have some tasks, some activities that you need to do, you can record those activities inside the list. So any kind of data that you have that you currently are recording in an Excel file, but if you want to record into SharePoint, you can very well use the lists of SharePoint. In this big SharePoint, which grows big with your organization, tomorrow you will have thousands of documents, millions of documents, and then you will have a lot of different list items. You need an amazing search functionality where it allows you to search not only the documents with their names, but it can allow you to search content within your document also. So if you have something that is written inside your document, the search of SharePoint can go inside those documents itself to look for those words and can take out and show those documents to you. Then you have workflows. Now every company, organization has a lot of processes within their organization. They may have processes like approval process, where a document once approved by your senior has to flow down to somebody else. They need to approve those documents. So all those workflows, all those things can be done in SharePoint. So you can have a lot of workflow processes inside your SharePoint. My agenda over here is to let you know the basics of SharePoint first, so that you feel comfortable while using SharePoint. So we'll go very soon into the demo on how do you work with SharePoint. So stick with me. Before we go there, let's look into hosting SharePoint. So SharePoint is a server product, which means you don't deploy SharePoint directly on your PC or on your laptop. You have a server where you deploy the SharePoint, and then you use your browser on your PC to access that website which is deployed on the server. So that's why it is called a server product. It's not a standalone product like your MS Office or MS Excel. Now the hosting strategies in SharePoint can be two different ways. So even though it's a server product, you can have an on-premises SharePoint or your SharePoint Online. Why I'm mentioning right now these two things is that you need to know the difference between the on-premises SharePoint, where it comes is various different versions like 2019, 2016. So right now latest running is 2019, and so there are different versions in the on-premises. Then there is a SharePoint Online, which is maintained by Microsoft. So there is a Microsoft server which is present on the Microsoft data center, and you use internet to access that data center, and then you access the website which is on that Microsoft data center. Now there are advantages and disadvantages of using both the things. When you have on-premise, means that your IT team will be responsible for looking after the farm, for doing any kind of patching, any new features deployment, change control, or any maintenance activity. Your IT team will be responsible for everything. While with SharePoint Online, your Microsoft is responsible for doing any farm level activity, any patching, any change, any maintenance. Microsoft is responsible. Then with on-premises, the data is hosted locally. So you have a server within your organization where you deploy SharePoint. So it's locally within your organization. So when you upload a document, it goes into that server and sits in that server within your organization. So this way, for those organizations where the data is very secure, they don't want to share it with other users. So what they do is they use the on-premise kind of a environment where they deploy the data within their organization. But for those external facing sites, external facing websites, and where the data is not that critical, you can use SharePoint Online, because it's less of a hassle. You don't have to maintain things. Everything is done by Microsoft. So for those kind of places, you can use SharePoint Online. So welcome to the demo, and this is a SharePoint 2013 on-prem site. And if you have 2016 or 2019 on your premises, then the look and feel will almost be the same. But if you have SharePoint 2010, then you may find some options placed differently. But the underlying thing that we are going to talk in this video will almost be the same. So right now, if you see that this is a SharePoint 2013 publishing site, and this is the home page that you see of that particular site. This is an out of the box, means what Microsoft has provided. There is no customizations applied till now. And if you see over here, this is a gear icon. So in this gear icon, if you click, you will see the options that you find it over here. Maybe those options will be less or more in your site based on the permissions that you have. Right now I have full permission on this, and I'm the administrator of this site, so I see all the options. Now if you don't find a particular option which I'm talking about right now, then you can go ahead and ask your administrator to give you permission so that you have those options, so that you can work on that. So in this demo, I'm going to show you how the document library, how the list, and how the navigation looks like, and how do you change the content on the page of your site, how do you create a new page, all those things pretty much quickly. The option that I will see in this ribbon is site setting. I don't like the look and feel of this site. Right now it is white in color. I don't like it. So if you want to change the look and feel, you can straight away go to site settings. If you don't find that option, you need to check with your administrator, then you can go ahead and do this. So if you see the site settings, I can change the look and feel by going to this icon over here, and then going to site setting, then go to the change the look option. Once you inside the change the look option, you will see some set of templates that Microsoft provides. I like this option, so I can select this option and then say try it out. Once you see try it out, it will show you how it looks on your screen. I say yes, keep it, and then the look and feel of your site will change. If you want to change the content of this page, this is the page basically of your SharePoint site. This is currently marked as a home page. There will be many different pages. You can mark a particular page as a home page, which comes up when you open your site. So if I want to change the content, again click this gear icon and then click edit page. So once you click edit page, then you can change the content of this site. I changed content, Once you are changing the content, you can increase the font, decrease the font, or change the color, and do a lot of different things with this content over here. How do you do that is, you see this ribbon, we call this as a ribbon. So you have this ribbon over here, you automatically SharePoint will select the necessary options that applies to particular thing that you are doing right now. So right now I'm trying to have selected a particular text, then that's the reason SharePoint identifies that I am looking to do some change in the content. So over here, if I increase the font, I can do that increase, I can make it bold, I can make it italic, I can even change the color to something different. So let's say if I want to change it to yellow, I can do all those things over here. Then I can very well go ahead and save this. So if I save this content, you see that the content has been changed. So this is how easy to change the content. You can do a lot of different things over. You can have hyperlinks, you can do a lot of different things over here. One other thing to note, if you do edit over here in SharePoint, you can see there are a lot of placeholders. So there is header placeholder, there is this placeholder, so there are a lot of different placeholder. So on these placeholders, I don't know whether you are able to see, there is something called as add a web part. So the web part are kind of a functionalities. There are some web part that have been provided out of the box SharePoint, like your media and content web part, content editor, where you can add some content, image web part to add an image. So there are a lot of different web parts. Every version may have different set of web part based on the version that you are on. So this, I'm on 2013. So these are some of the out of the box web part that I see over here. So you can add a web part on this particular option. Right now, let's not add a web part. We just save this content. Now, if you want to see what is document library in SharePoint looks like, I can go again, click on this icon. I can go to site content. So if you go to site content, you will see some set of contents over here. These are the document libraries. So like example, there is a document library called finance. There is a document library called site assets. So these are some set of document libraries. If you want to add a new document library, I can go ahead and add, click on the add an app, and then you can click on the document library. You can provide the name of the document library. For example, I will provide over here as procurement, and then I will click on create. So once you click on create, it quickly creates a document library for you, where basically you can go inside and add a new document. So you can choose a particular file from here and then upload that file and click on OK. So see, this file has been created and it has been modified and created by me. So it will write those information over here. So let me upload one more file to show you how do we upload it, or you can even drag it. So let me drag this file. So if I am on the desktop, this is my file that I want to drag it, and this is my site. What I can do is I can drag this file over here and it will upload that particular file. So you can even drag a particular file, a single file or multiple files directly to your document library. Plus, if you see, there are some other set of permissions. So if you click on these three dots, you will see there are a lot of different permissions that you find over here. This is the link of this particular file. So if you want to share the file to someone, you can just copy this link and share it on the email. If you want to change the permission of this file, then you can click on shared with. So you can change that. If you want to share this file to someone, you can click on share with. You can provide the name of the people whom you want to share with this file with. Then you can provide a message also over here, and the file will be shared to those particular people. So that's the shared with option. If these are the file level settings that I was showing you, then in this ribbon, if you see, there is library level options, where you can go to library settings, where you will see a lot of other options like versioning and advanced settings, all these options. So we will go on all these options in detail, but for now, just know that there are a lot of different options for the document library, where you set up the versioning and other things, advanced settings. Then if you want to see the site content, again, this is a site content where you can see the list. So this is a list that I was talking about. So it looks like more of like an Excel file, where you have columns over here. How do you create these columns? That is one another thing we will show you in the list demo. How do you work on SharePoint list? later, but these are the columns. And if you want to add new items, you can just click on add new item, and then over here if you see, this is a form that gets opened up for you where you can provide the inputs to that particular form, and then you can click on the save button. Once you click save, it will be uploaded onto that particular list. This list can be downloaded and exported to Excel file. So if you want to export, you can click on the list ribbon item, and then you can click on export to Excel, where it will export the list to an Excel file. Similar to the document library, there is list settings as well, where you find the versioning and the advanced setting options. That is a separate topic, but yes, we will cover all those in the list demo on how do you use SharePoint list. So these are the different options that you play around. There is a view all site content that you take, that option takes you to everywhere. And then there is a site settings option. The site setting options where you went once, but this is the place where you get everything and anything that you can play around on the SharePoint. You can see there are site administrator option, there are search options, there are site collection administrator options. So there is a difference between site administrator and site collection. So site collection and site is a different thing. Site collection is a top level site, if you can think of. Then that top level site can have multiple different subsites within it. So these multiple subsites can be called as site, and or the subsites, and these subsites can have their own administrator. So if you are site collection, you can manage everything, but if you are a single site owner, you can manage that particular site. So that's the difference between these two. So these are the different set of options. So a lot of things to do in SharePoint, as I told you earlier. So it can be daunting for the first time users, but yes, once you get hold of it, you can easily play around with it. So hope you would have learned on what is SharePoint and what all you can do with the SharePoint, both on the on-premises. But this is just the tip of the ice that we just covered right now. We touched on what is list, what is document library, how do you access those, how do you create those. But there are a lot of things that goes inside those options. There are advanced settings, there are permissions that you need to manage. All those settings and all those features we will deal with in our future videos that will be coming up with. So keep watching and do subscribe our channel, Help Me Coder. If you have any questions or comments, do put them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy coding.